So glad you could join us today. As promised, we have base cabinets for the Beachside Bungalow dollhouse that was created by Real Good Toys. This has been a labor of love. Experimented with a few things, and again, I'm brand new at this and definitely not an engineer or an architect. Decided to create this base cabinet. It will have a countertop and a sink at some point, hopefully soon. And what I'm showing you now are just all the drawings. We did this on cardstock and then mat board. In some areas, we did a double thickness of mat board to give it a little more strength. But these are all the pieces. Hand cut it out with scissors and X-Acto knife and sanded the edges on all the pieces and then glued it either with the quick drying Aleene's tacky glue or the clear Aleene's glue. Wanted to compare this to the Cricut maker that I had used before. You can see here I'm showing two pieces that we're going to glue together and use banker clips to keep it tight. I found that with the Cricut maker, I actually have, I think, sharper edges and made a mess, but I was concerned because there's 8 to 10 passes with the Cricut maker. But I found with the X-Acto knife, I sometimes had to cut 6 or 7 times myself, depending on the thickness. We're going to put a sink in the center, so I had to leave the very center wide enough and open to fit, and wanted to put drawers and doors in this cabinet. The little plastic container you see is actually a ranch dressing container from a fast food restaurant, Burger King. Hard to find rectangles anymore. So you can just see down the top part on the left and right are going to be drawers. Had to make sure everything was level and even. And there are some mistakes. There's some messes. Put a panel on the front to kind of make it neater. And you'll see that we'll add some fake wood in a little bit to that. And just showing you the just different angles. This is upside down, but just to show you where the drawers are. And then this is the right side. The drawer fronts obviously have to be centered, and they all have to open and close. And that was a challenge. The doors also have to fit. And I thought I had done a great job, and then realized I had to cut them a little smaller. This is just the countertop where I have 2 pieces of mat board glued together for later use. These are the 2 drawers. The center island is a fake drawer, and I put bracing in there. Painted the mat board with acrylic paint using orange and black and yellow and white to give it as much of a koa wood effect as I could for the inside and the back, so then I could just use the vinyl on the front. And this just shows you some of the painting of it. It looks pretty rough right now, but it cleans up nicely. For the handles, we'll go over this a little bit. We actually used circular crimp beads, and we also used this for the hinges, and cut pieces of copy paper, put some glue in it, Aleene's tacky glue, the quick drying kind, put the little crimp beads not in the center. You want it offset, so one side's longer than the other, and then you'll trim it when you get ready. These are going to be the hinges. This is the koa wood tone that I had printed on Cricut vinyl in my Cricut maker. The little silver are actually metallic looking vinyl pieces, and this is a conch shell I turned into an SVG. The black is craft paper, and you'll see that we glued 2 pieces together, and this is just a close-up. We use Q-tips for the handles to attach to the cabinets in the base cabinet for the island, as I've shown before. I wanted to do something different this time, and we'll show you. This is just how you lay it, lay the piece that you want to cut on the vinyl and measure it, cut it out, and then take the paper off the vinyl and glue it. It has an adhesive side, and that's what the front looks like. But to make it more secure, I added the clear school tacky glue to the sides, and actually ended up having to use a little super glue to get it around the corners. Use banker clips again on the edges to keep it tight and express all the excess glue.
All right, here we have a display and we're testing out a new camera, so excuse me if we're out of focus. These are the hinges that we've been showing you, made from the copy paper around a cylindrical bead and painted black. And these are the beads. We're going to paint them silver before I'm through, but I wanted to walk you through today what we're doing. And I decided before I put the cabinet doors on the cabinets that I would try to come up with a better way to secure. And as you know, if you watch the video on the island, we used the Q-tips, painted the pieces of Q-tip, the center of the Q-tip black, and then attached it to the front. I've tried various ways to drill through. I've not been successful, so I took the straight pins and cut them. Let's see if I can walk you through to see. Hopefully you can see this size. And drilled a hole through the cardstock. So from the back, my goal is from the back side to put the straight pin that's cut off, and then take a cylindrical bead out of my stash here. And if this goes well, we will have our plan in place. So we put the bead on top, and I'm going to glue it with super glue. Hopefully you can see that. And then we should be able to take the cardstock, black cutout cardstock, lay it on top, and then we'll put our silver piece that we cut out of vinyl with the Cricut machine on top of that. And that will give us the effect that we had with the island. I'm going to walk over here and get that for you, in case you have not seen the island. This is what I'm talking about. And see, you can see where the Q-tip was, but it's flimsy, and so it's not secured to the back of the drawer, and it comes off. So that's our goal, is to come up with a better mousetrap, so to speak. So I'll be putting these together, and we'll get back with you to show you the final product. Before I do that, I did want to talk to you about, I showed you, I have a photo of the Borland's wax. If you notice the previous slides, the vinyl was a little flat looking, as well as the acrylic paint. And by putting the Borland's wax, you can see a sheen to make it look more like real wood. Even the acrylic painted part has a nice sheen to it. So just gives you an idea. All right, let's see if you see that. Apologize, I am not tech savvy, but I am trying. So we'll be back in a little while to put this together and see how it works. I thought it was good to show you the pros and the cons, things that worked, things that haven't. Many of you are more savvy than I in doing these things, but we all have different skills, and I'll just show you what I've done. If it's helpful, fantastic. Thanks. See you in a bit.
So now you can see the Borland's wax and what it looks like on these cabinet fronts. And that's just the black cardstock that we mentioned that we glued together, and just showing you some of the steps that we took and showing you the vinyl. It's really cool that you can make an SVG and print it on a Cricut Maker and cut it out and be done. And to make sure that these cardstock pieces are as close together in shape and size, I put them in a paper towel and express the glue. And then for the vinyl, you need to take like contact paper or Cricut transfer paper, put it on, and take some credit card or some type of squeegee and press on it so that you can get all those pieces on your contact paper to flip over to your cardstock. Those were just pictures of the hinges that we used. You saw them before. We repainted them. And then I used paper towels rolled up to give a little bit of resistance when I put the doors on. If not, I would have been playing with that all day trying to glue it. And I used the Aleene's tacky glue just to glue the hinges on. So they look a bit rustic. It's not perfect. It's my first try. but I'm kind of pleased. It had to do a lot of changes and improvements, and these are the straight pens I was talking about. And then we use the gloss, I'm sorry, acrylic gloss. And we really did try. Took the Q-tips, cut them in the sizes that we needed for the handles, painted them, let them dry, tried to drill holes in them, and that acrylic paint is just like cement. So that was a huge mistake. It worked just fine until I painted it. And here's your hinge before we paint it. Just lining it up to see what it's going to look like on the cabinet, because this was my first time doing this. Bentley House Minis has a video, which I share with y'all. She's the one who showed me how to do this. I thought it was really cool that you could take copy paper, glue around a bead, and create something that looks like a metal hinge. Hinges are hard to find, and they're pricey, and you have to put little nails, and it's really hard for me to maneuver. So I thought this was a cool way to do it. It looks better in person than on this messy paper. And you'll see I use a lot of, there's Bentley House. That's the link to their YouTube. I use a lot of wax paper under my products, so I don't ruin my table surfaces. I used an X-Acto knife to cut the holes. Had to measure, make sure everything was equal distance. Also for the handles, and also marked where the hinges would be. And this is that little circular bead. And I used super glue and Aleene's tacky glue. That worked the best to seal the straight pen. And these are the crimp beads that we talked about. Then the door in the middle did not want to stay closed, so I used small pieces of magnets that have adhesive. The white part is where the adhesive is. Took that off, but also glued it to the vinyl as well as the back of the door. And so now you see it with just the mat board countertop. It's not finished yet, but our next goal is to put in a sink and put in the faux granite countertop. Hope this was helpful to you. Hope you enjoyed it. Please forgive the messes. I'd rather be honest with you and show you what I'm doing and let you know that it's for those of you who might be a little nervous about trying, as I've always been. Just get in there and do it. The worst that can happen is that you make a mess and have to clean up. Hope you enjoyed it. Please, if you did, like the video, subscribe, and share with your friends. My goal is to make these as teachable and helpful as possible. Thanks again. Have a great day.